adeɛ baako a man nkɔfo gidie sɛ Real Madrid be win game no yɛ sɛ Espanyol nye boboku a oba Real Madrid fie a otimi benya good results. The last time a Real Madrid etina fie ma Espanyol pokra be share no was way back in 1996. Ana Espanyol be share Real Madrid 2-1 or Real Madrid fie. After 1996 no matches ahodo a Espanyol aba Real Madrid fie nyina no ontimi win saa match no. Enti omo last 27 games our Real Madrid fie no Espanyol ontimi mbefa win. Enti based on Real Madrid for current form ometimi nya our La Liga ye sha ase no. Anyhow a Real Madrid etina fie against Espanyol on time lose no. Ene na amani padodo na ni gidie say saa match ebekoso nyame ya adom enne no. Real Madrid for betima for the 3 maximum points. By Kwaku obi asoso eni si overlooking Espanyol performance so far. Yes, La Liga na se no. Espanyol for so unfair badly at all. Based on almost 4 games almost so etimi esi akan no. Espanyol win mu miensa and wa draw baako. Enti ye ka teams almost so lose game e was Spanish La Liga na Espanyol e ka ho bi. Mejitu mu say Espanyol ko Real Madrid fia ontimi nhye. Espanyol e boboku a oni so nse Real Madrid. Ba ye La Liga na se no. Almost so enya form bi a ontimi underrate om boboku no. Enti sa we Real Madrid de chi 10 year. Who expected Real Madrid so be wini. By me ma we refi say Espanyol for so ye La Liga no. Almost so apeke form a. Omo be try some ba be Real Madrid. Adia ba kwa monitor wa Espanyol team no ye say. Ye sha ase no. This season omo lose omo top goalkeeper in the shape of one Garcia edema Barcelona. And omo ye couple of signings bi edeba ye. Roberto Fernandes omo kofa ni free Portugal de ba be show mboboku ni. And so far omo 4 games omo ntimi en lose bi no. Omo set omo team ne up. 4 at the back, 4 in the midfield. No major one player we nim ho Roberto Fernandes we nim ho. And the reason why Espanyol e boss our style ni say 10 bi anon person munya numbers in the midfield. Omo person bo ball no man kasa half. No metimi attack it through the midfield because obo 5 midfielders. Now etimi protecting the back line. And omo very aggressive. But unfortunately for Espanyol boboku no, omo main man e won finfin ho. Mia e the red card. Was 3 goals at the amount Espanyol this season. Our the Spanish La Liga or your midfielder or was suspension with the red card a big disadvantage at the amount Espanyol boboku. So based on the 4 games at Espanyol bono, Mejitum say Real Madrid a huge favorite so be winning by Espanyol in almost 4 games for La Liga no. Kwaku omo lose match enti untimi underrate omo untimi overlook omo performance me ni pajudo na be ya again say ye petit mo be win sa game na definitely meko e dia ma Real Madrid boboku ni say Real Madrid for na expect omo so betimi e win by uche eye UEFA Champions League na Madrid boy no against Olympique de Marseille na Alonso ya adie bi enkwaku sa adie na Alonso ye no me ye pretty sure say nyame ya do ene Alonso be repeat the same thing. Omobo Olympique de Marseille e wo UEFA Champions League no. Un say Marseille for ne pebo a e was ye sha ase from ye chiro. Enti Alonso decided say obe take risk into use high risk approach. High risk approach Alonso use ni say un sanka mostly Ada Goulet, Fede Valverde, Ana Tchouameni, omo nyina ye midfield said the Real Madrid. By our UEFA Champions League no Alonso taking risk no. Sa high risk approach o use ye no. Anytime we are the opponent no person obobo no na echi on beji bo no bia no o ma Ada Goulet Tchouameni ana Fede Valverde esa push ko na nimpa enti se wo hwe picture here that Facebook say na a clear example of Real Madrid Alonso taking high risk approach because opponent na o share no e person build up ebobo ne dodo no anu on kasa half na Alonso person o ma pitch ne eketwa edima Olympique du Marseille for no and the same style ana Espanyol for ne so bo Espanyol for no so person bobo no e wo man kasa half so most likely say how will see approach the Olympique du Marseille game no using the high risk approach no Alonso be using the same team playing against Espanyol I will be making sure say Espanyol be ma pitch na ye ketwa de ama Espanyol now etimi anya a lot of turnovers no ajebo na animu ya because playing against Olympique du Marseille I will nya asade no e ma Real Madrid for nya 16 high turnovers omutimi ji ball no 16 times our opponent half from the creative chances and they most likely say Alonso beko the same style now Real Madrid for it mean a lot of turnovers ɛwɔ Espanyol final third no mama pitch na yɛ ketewa de ama Espanyol no metimi apini Espanyol for no attack a lot create a lot etimi de ball na to atenim so most likely say Alonso be repeating the same style Real Madrid for be winning game no and the good news for Real Madrid yes say squad Alonso di real game nim no Jude Bellingham back into the squad after season as no koye no operation shoulder operation no Jude Bellingham back into the squad Camavinga back into the squad likely say sa two players ni benya some few minutes etimi esi akan Mbappe form based on Mbappe form no say ye play obetima she go di ama Real Madrid da untimi mbo player bia ahead of Kylian Mbappe Lutina most likely say Mbappe ne form na wapeke how was he she goals no playing against Espanyol Bernabeu no Mbappe she goals there is no Dinhausen game nim and Dinhausen nsi akan no Real Madrid for koye appeal by appeal no omentimi awini and Oche Elder Militao so gradually or pick and to kaku a game back me expect Espanyol so be Real Madrid for 12th time Espanyol for form by a team of we need ya meko e dia ma Real Madrid bobo no Real Madrid to win sa game no against Espanyol na 5 games e La Liga no me expect Real Madrid for say after 5 games on bet manya ne 5 wins and to say me team of we ya meko dia ma Real Madrid bobo no Barcelona Everton fie no mabo Getafe bobo no club baako or ha Barcelona pa no Getafe Barca fans na nkasa be dia dance here say Barcelona be she Getafe bobuko ni pokra na ana Barcelona break akra obe struggle anu etimi nya ne win omo tai ha Barcelona pa even last season me kai pa na Barcelona na Getafe bo Barcelona fie no Lewandowski ne share the only goal about 19th minute efiti on Barcelona ntimi an she go obiem Barcelona call Getafe fie no ekoye 1-1 enti Barcelona shia Getafe bia na ya na Getafe ema Barcelona 12th time and adia ba kwa hu about Getafe boboko ne say okoshia Barcelona obejai bo ni nyina ma Barcelona abo because onim say ontimi mbiem ne Barcelona mbo which fact even the big guys since akese ni mpokresia Barcelona omunim so omuntimi dominate Barcelona how much more about Getafe boboko no enti ade a Getafe fo ne ye say okosia Barcelona say was so defending enkwaku nim say La Liga na se no Getafe fo so win 3 games ano melusu wano ye sha ase no mo performance ne ye bada omo so enya good starter omo try say omo de sa form no ebetimi dia ha Barcelona boboku no and ade omo ye ne ye say omo kosia Barcelona pa e was say omo ko omo traditional deep block ne ye say e was say omo nya more numbers behind omo sit deep no mo wala Barcelona for nsam mbo ball ne mfambra ball na mo body aba no ye win ball na ye use transition e de win Barcelona and definitely Getafe ball ne nkwasesa na me aduma against Barcelona obenya ne traditional deep block no obabo 3 center back because obabo 3 back now we use Kiku as a right wing back Rico as a left wing back and anytime they are Getafe for be defend bia no the last line of defense no obe try so obenya nipa 4 now when you 3 central midfielders are ombo protect the back 5 no now ama Liso ana Mayola ejina nim ho enti anytime bi a Getafe be defend bia no o expect a traditional deep block or winning ball na no now we quick transition we use long balls crosses now we use the weight no so game na Getafe be no ye be hu Getafe obesity deep Barcelona na be dominate play no and obi expect Barcelona so be winning against Getafe menya sure say obeye analysis obeka say Getafe kwa kwose Barcelona mejitum say football bibia betimasi de by say ye critical analysis now the facts and figures go now analyze two teams na kwaku so we ni partner metima ka say mu na yen ha beka say Barcelona be winning game because Barcelona playing at home against Getafe majority ni na be kwa dia ma Barcelona say Barcelona na be winning those say Getafe as a season na say be war osia Barcelona ha Barcelona obe use the traditional deep block now I try so obe frustrate Barcelona by kwaku me question am ibusa na ye say ye benya team you obetima stop Barcelona from scoring ana ball na Barcelona ebo ni say no ye betimi animanimu ya team betima ese we share Barcelona o ma Barcelona fa ball ento atene mediki a church him say Barcelona ho odin pa no e say omukura ball under Hansi Flick and na ye Barcelona strength say ball ni kura Barcelona e ho na Barcelona commanding on the field of play The omotimi de ball ye. How omo build it up? How omotimi move into channels and spaces? How omotimi expand the opponents? Who defend the deep corner? Barcelona will always find a way to expand the team, no. How omo create your chances? Any higher omo channel. Emma Barcelona e ball now. Omo is strong than any club in La Liga. Sebo okra Barcelona kwaku. Mijitum sa La Liga na yebo no. The auto table ni say no Real Madrid. Mijitum. By say yen crabo, yen attack, yen create. Team bien who are strong than Barcelona or the La Liga yebo this season. And facts and figures prove right say the best attacking team in La Liga so far Barcelona. Matches do yabo La Liga say no kwaku. Upe team a shot on target averagely or what try Barcelona. Every single game averagely shot on target or averaging 7.8. And to win Barcelona see a kind La Liga. One ball shot on target crano 7 deal obenya. And a team and a 9 poem. Barcelona players no 9 poem. Upe team so far what creating big chances for La Liga Barcelona 14. And the chance who could share Barcelona or La Liga, yen creating chances are no oye de obeye because we are creating big chances than any club or La Liga 14. We are talking about a team washing more goals than any club or La Liga 13. And to say yen creating yen ball on target, yen sanche goals Barcelona was through. And a yen crab on near possess or average 70.5%. And to Barcelona who are the Nukaku, a how crabble. And when Barcelona be share, na okrabo na or dominate you are unim said definitely. Barcelona will create, Barcelona will attack, and Barcelona will score because Oma who den pano ho. Unim said last season, Omo ball 4 major competition. Barcelona last season ball La Liga, UEFA Champions League, Copa del Rey, and a Super Copa no. Unim said 4 competitions ni na Barcelona boy no. 2 class pe and intimia Barcelona and Fabo Antoine Martinez. The entire season, last season na Barcelona, La Liga, Bibiano, or boy UEFA Champions League, 2 clubs, and I'm Barcelona and Fabo Antoine Martinez. Leganis and Real Sociedad. These are the only clubs that Barcelona and Fabo Antoine Martinez. And it's a team echo entire season, not only 2 clubs, and prevented Barcelona from scoring. Now a brand new season. Every single game be a Barcelona will be a washegu. Every single game you real season, every single game be an Barcelona share. So the big question will be able to say, why are the best stop Barcelona from scoring? Because a year say when the Barcelona share be a obe dominate you, obe create no ashe goals. So me expect Barcelona to so better more than 2 goals against Getafe. Me expect Barcelona say 2 or more goals or they better Getafe at him. Getafe better try so be defend the half frustrated Barcelona. By how Barcelona are attacking, how will we create more chances? No, may expect no less than 2 goals from Barcelona. Say playing against a Getafe, no, ebe bomo. And no idea about Barcelona over the years. Everything is a hands flick by no. And you know, idea about Barcelona fans ni S3 say. Amo menya GDN. And you know, consistency and a tactical stability. And you know, hands flick. Abua Barcelona team no, stability then tactical stability. So what check Barcelona? About food neswa or more consistency of play. How will make me maintain high and reliable level of performance I was through. And to make me winning matches at twice sa and to make team nenya GDA ama supporters nenya GDA omo bobo nim and a tactical stability. Shekwanya omo system entire sisa. Omo system of play ni nyina no very effective. And to game back kwa say Hansi Flick decide say obe resti obi to say Fermin Lopez no the Dani Olmo abo. So Obama Christiansen Ashasiye, Obama Eric Garcia Ashasiye, oye rotation pokrasa de yakweku. Me expect Barcelona to win this game against Getafe. And not less than 2 goals from Barcelona because Oma attack and how Oma attack no. Anweshi. Me train team obe stop Barcelona say Oma Barcelona enfa ball ento Martinez. Me pe team obe win ya mete Barcelona team no. Liverpool airball Everton. Merseyside derby. Efiti 1894. Ebesine. Everton ni Liverpool for about 246 games from 1894 besine. 1894 and yenya Everton ni Liverpool so omo first game. So from that period ebesine no about 246 games. 246 games no. Liverpool winning 100. Everton a winning 68 and a 78 about draw. So between Liverpool and Everton, the otai and dominating the Yonkono a Liverpool bobuku. And kwaku obi a watch Liverpool ni Everton game bi an a tough. Any brewum. That's the reason why in the history of Premier League, there is no single fixture I produce record than Liverpool ni Everton. I produce records in 25. Se one fixture e produce records in 25 a chance sa two teams ni share. Na ani bre e was sa game nim. But dia ba ko e ma Liverpool for advantage ni say. Say ye bo game ni wo Liverpool fear. Na Liverpool for e wa reshim say e bo awie no menya good results. Because on last 28 games on my ball e wo Liverpool fear no. Liverpool lose ba ko pe. It is a team mienu sia e wo ba ko fear. Not the last 28 games. Barca pe ana Barca wini a ekyerese de otai wini kese no dominate so ade ma Liverpool fo no arehemu ne yese say ye bobo no o Anfield ye bobo no o Liverpool fie na the last 28 no Everton aba be wini Barca pa Liverpool fo e was our home supremacy over Everton which ma Liverpool fo no advantage say obetime wini game no but kwaku ye share season ase no obi a wahwe Everton team ni bia under David Moyes unso ma improve unless some person be kind of create. So what shall Everton team now? Who say I say improvement happen. Who say Everton for first game or lose against Leeds. But in the second game against Brighton, the third game against Wolves, the fourth game against Aston Villa. Who say match after match Everton under David Moyes improve. It is what check the performance of Everton. Everton for better Marco Liverpool team no. Based on our performance, so me show say. Yes, season I say David Moyes about 4 at the back. 4 at the back no bono. About 2 deep midfielders and I said double pivots. About Tim and Idrissa Gana Gay as the double pivots in front of the back 4 at the Everton team no. Now we use Disbury Hall as a roaming number 10 in front of the double pivots. Now we use 2 wingers Ombe move between the flanks and the central channels. And 2 wingers who used to say Ombe move between the flanks and the central channels. No, Jack Grealish and Indiai. And so far, Jack Grealish a movie for Manchester City. Ebe PM or Everton, no kwaku. Obi a watch Jack Grealish be himself a performance so far so good. 4 games, 4 assists. And Grealish perform very well. Also say oyesa wingers playing against Everton. Obetima any fullback. Now we use to a branch friend say Beto as a physical number 9. The reason why David Moyes use to Beto as a physical number 9 here say or per number 9 will bet hold on play as a target man. Now we use the physicality and then the upper body strength. Etimi a battle with other defenders. Now we making sure say we're bringing runners into play. And to watch David Moyes team now kwaku say so mu sia kan ya omo focus on counter build up. Counter build up football transitional game. And to omo try ma also keep pressure na omo contain pressure na omo je ball ne pe quick attacking transition because on him say or Jack Grealish or Indiai or Disbury Hall or Beto no more use sa counter build up no and making sure say omo dey create omo chances and omo defend there because of Tim and Idrissa Gana again no omo timi say omo back for just to make sure say omo retain compactness e so under David Moyes ne 4 games about so far Premier League no kwaku I think say Everton improve as compared to some previous season yehu Everton boboku but kwaku Liverpool upper hand
yeah
and for one say David Moyes ne Everton improve no Liverpool for upper hand onim see a season ase no Liverpool for enya ne fo omo game against Bournemouth omo first game no Liverpool play and we win 4-2 and omo kobo Newcastle me pa chebe ba ho omo kobo Newcastle omo win 3-2 omo bo Arsenal omo win 1-0 omo bo Burnley omo win 1-0 even Community Shield omo ne Crystal Palace twa Liverpool for Crystal Palace di omo fa so ana na anu ya in the UEFA Champions League where the Atletico Madrid for ebe ha omadwen enti ye share season ase no Liverpool for ndi omo nya smooth run sa but di ehia wo football mu pa ye win and for one say Liverpool for enya total dominance And for once Liverpool for MI a 5-star performance, Liverpool always find a way to win games. That's the most important thing. Because a league na yebo. Yebo league ni area, yenko calculate find the ball effect. Ade ebe mo win league e wa benya more points. Enti yebo league ni area no, yenko ye say the win league ni ye the obo effect, e the onya more number of points. Enti Liverpool for for won say ye share season as no, omunya a smooth run, they always find a way to win. Enya dia e wo Liverpool Emma Liverpool for an upper hand over Everton team because Liverpool nim kwan obefa so e win games. And the reason why Emma Liverpool for no say almost struggle game say dey omutimi win ni say omenya winning mentality. Say when Liverpool for say akan that winning mentality ometimi impact e wo supporters nim, omen impact wo players nim, omen impact wo the coaching staff nim. Enti emfa won how Liverpool for be struggle no, Liverpool for will always find a way to win. And so winning mentality no how etimi abo Liverpool for amo mutimi overcome challenges even under pressure. And so mu see akan mu ye den kra na omo nim say ye betima contain pressure no, ye betima make sure say ye bo overcome say pressure na enya win. Typical example, when Liverpool against Newcastle, pressure Liverpool for fame, but mutimi retaining sa pressure no e overcome sa pressure no enya de abo Liverpool bobuko no. And sa core component ama Liverpool for enya sa winning mentality no, sa core component ni de kan e resilience. Component ama Liverpool for enya sa winning mentality no, core component in the first thing I'm noticing about Liverpool team no e resilience. How omunya setback omutimi overcome sa setback no, confidence omwo, determination a Liverpool for how omuye focus and discipline and how omutimi adapted to game management. Enti e ka hu bi ana ye say kwaku Liverpool for ni say referee mpon aben a e ka 1 minute ko betima nya gidi so be she go. Because when you sa winning mentality no, on the bomb of boy no, Chiesa go ni ba 88 minutes. On the Newcastle boy 90 plus 10 and a winning goal by. On the Arsenal boy 83rd minutes. On the Burnley boy 90 plus 5. In the UEFA Champions League, kwachake time otimi winning against Atletico Madrid. Until clearly Liverpool for winning mentality no, and abuama Liverpool team no, say emuya dance at the moment pokra no mu ogidie say koka 1 minute mpokro metimi e win this game no. And no an a big advantage at Liverpool ahead of Everton. Everton for never try say oba be frustrated Liverpool team no. By Liverpool for no advantage so betimi win. Everton team na kwakuye kan nyina no. Omo weakness kese pa na say omo constant pressure. Omo a lot of individual errors e wo metro. So me expect say obi to say Isaac, Salah, Cody Gakpo, McAllister, and guys in Nabema Everton for no constant pressure. So mutimi man Everton for no constant pressure kwaku enyem wa cross Liverpool benya penalty. Okay. Enyem wa Liverpool benya penalty because some steady Everton for weakness omo constant pressure, omo commit a lot of errors, a lot of fouls around omo boss. And omo mpe team omo use omo weight ni bebre, omo use wings ni bebre. And playing against skillful players, na Everton for a shaky kakra. So make advantage for Liverpool team no. Manchester and Chelsea. On paper, a game kesiye because Manchester ye team kesiye, Chelsea ye team kesiye. So on paper, a big game, Chelsea, Manchester United any day, big game. Name performance no, and match two clubs ne status, most especially Manchester United. And Tianka check it on Mokesiye na o expect say based on how our two teams near Kesiye no and performance never was to be. By recently so check it on performance titru pan Manchester United no o say performance no a drop it. Pressure our teams ni mienu so titru ne Manchester say also munya 3 points no. Manchester our Premier League no we win baako pe and we lose mienu no a draw baako. Enti ehun be yin asa Manchester United team no ebetime win omo games edo manim. Ana akọ Chelsea the last 2 games in no competition wa draw Brentford and okolusu Allianz Arena. Enti Chelsea hwe nim say ombe win this game we no netimi asa busi omo confidence ni biem because I will draw against Brentford now okolusu against Bayern now Manchester United for esa shawa. I said the Chelsea spirit in ebeba form kakra. So Chelsea for better try some back win this game we know. Na boost your more confidence. Kwaku Our field ne so no. But you say na ubo Ruben Amorim. A voice say Sebi se Pope mpokra be catch ne say on sesa ne formation na on sesa no. For Ruben Amorim eto nchen. Na yendi nkomo wo pitch ne so.
Okay.
For the fan say Manchester fo nyina agya atum say big mu nyina agya atum say Amorim nya de. Yen fa ne nto nchen. Me mpesa me discuss Amorim. Ni en discuss ball. United problem ankasa so mu si akan yede. That's the first question was obisa. Enfa ho ne de Ruben Amorim mistakes obey ni nyina no. Se Manchester si akan pa na. Manchester on the field. Game na cause a problem net eyede. Kwaku Manchester problems ni nyina no. Faces of play no. They are not clinical. And defensively they are poor. That's the say game na cause one problem kese no. Ruben Amorim so on the standing formation. So obekọ ne 3 back no meboa. Lenny Yoro, Delete, and Luxo ne bebo. Obebo ne left wing back Patrick Dogu. Now obo ne right wing back so be Yusu Mazrai Yusu so a no de nabo. In fifi ono minim so obema Bruno Fernandes ni Ugarte na abo. Se Kunya ababak so be Yusu Kunya. Ene mbwemu ana so be Yusu Ama Diallo. Na wabo Benjamin Sesko. Enti ni formation no ensesa. Sa formation na Ruben Amorim na bono. E create chances and answer in create. The first question. Kwaku sa what check Manchester United so si akanya. Manchester create chances pa. Ultimate create from the wing from the wings. And no create from the central midfield area because the wing backs no me push forward echo create chances the Manchester. The central midfielders ni Bruno to me push forward e create. The double number 10s need to me create. And in terms of creativity, when Manchester United in lucky you, say team enshegwa, the first thing I will say, o create na. Because the team are on shego no, obeka say any own creating thing won't mean she. But the problem with Manchester United near say, o create, won't mean she. And to prove further, when in Premier League na yebo so far no, among 20 clubs, team what touch a ball can see a power opponent box near Manchester.
Okay.
128. These are fast and figures.
And so we move football no quite anymore.
Not even Liverpool. Not even Manchester City. Not even Arsenal. Team what touch a ball can see a power opponent penalty box near Manchester United. 128. Take no tour. Ye cat team in the Premier League so far. Among accurate crosses and the co-opponent half and Manchester United 6.5. Take no tour. So far, team amount accurate long balls, echo opponent half, Manchester United 32.8. And he got top 10 teams in Premier League or creating big chances Manchester come. So put this fast and figures prove say Manchester United to me attack it. Or to me create. So the team attack it create they no expect goals. When him say SG so far expected goals in the Premier League. SG expected goals. Sanka who expected teams that was almost goals. Then you can SG no. SG indicator. When him say so far Premier League no. Man City were 8.5. Manchester United were 8.3. Teams Sanka expected say was more goals no. The only kind Man City. You are talking to Manchester United. And to Manchester United problem is say omu crabo na omu timi create by goals in the ember. And just 4 goals. So Manchester United problem first one say game na cause what they are not clinical. Almost say chances we bring. When Manchester United against Arsenal. Chances are Manchester United nyai. Omo boy wo wiase na by moment me convert omo chances no. And to Manchester United e will problem in terms of goal scoring. And goal scoring no Benjamin Sesko a new player. Mbeumo new player. Kunya new player. So the front three na we nim ho no a new players are understanding ni nyamba. And no do the final third akwaku that final decision making that calmness composure no Manchester United dey lack wenim ho uyi goals o muntimi nsha so Manchester United defend dia akwaku obi a notice sad we Manchester United first line of defense so defend dia Sesko Sekunya na bebo anase Mbeumo a check the gap between the first line of defense and the second line Manchester United second line no Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte. the gap between the first line and the second line is huge. Emuwa. And almost second line and almost third line of defense. That's the midfield and the final defensive line. Check a gaps. So Manchester United a defend here and Kakwaku say team above 5 at the back. Who expects so bit to retain compactness? Say team above 5 at the back. Who expects say and commit me a little space in between the lines. But me no can say Manchester above 5 back. By a year spaces in between the lines, the first defensive line, second defensive line, and the third defensive line, a year a huge anti-opponent exploitable. Ebina Fulham de yomono, Ebina Manchester City de yomono. So Chelsea are about facing Manchester United no. Chelsea bet to take advantage over Manchester United because Chelsea so one dem pani say ya attack. So far Chelsea attack here. O match so many goal ni she. O mutimi create. Chelsea 8 million 6 players opponent half. Our numbers opponent half. So far in the Premier League teams are creating kesiye no. And that's what goals kesiye no. Chelsea eka hubi. And to say yenche goals enye Chelsea problem. Chelsea kwashe away go akwekwa enye mwawa. Chelsea konya go Manchester United fear enye mwawa. By Chelsea susu problem here say defensively akwa koye problem e dey ma Chelsea. E ye game back kwa onim say the last 12 games are Manchester and Chelsea abo Old Trafford. Nina no Chelsea team Manchester.
Hey.
Manchester winning 5 and a draw 7. It is a Manchester United team enya kura na and say Chelsea so ko wa ontimi nche. Enti again back kwa it seems draw a bit to make him. Draw
Right.
a bit to make him. For Arsenal then Manchester City a goes.
Okay.
Enti no me kono over 1.5 over 2.5.
Right.
Say Arsenal nka so timi Manchester City ewo Emirates. And Arsenal, the here say Arsenal be defending very well. Arsenal have opportunity to score. So
they know how to defend too.
They know how to defend. Inter no make goals.
Okay.
Then again, Inter Sassuolo may expect a win or draw for Inter Milan because Omenya poor start over the Italian Serie A. AC Milan against Udini away. AC Milan so far enye bad. Udini so enye bad. Luka Modric perform very well. And that game is so under 3.5. Our game him. Bayern against Bremen over 2.5.
Okay, Kwame. Biggie. Patch your meeting, Wadarama.
First of all, my man Shas here and free Manchester United and the Chelsea game. No? It's already these two teams. Not all Baba Bishia. Looking at the current performances of these two teams. Now you catch you say you back up. Our future will be just the victor in this meeting. It dear about him first. Chelsea. With no disrespect to Manchester United. Recent games, our teams need no ball. Obia matches our ball. Where Chelsea this particular season. Chelsea team hasn't gotten make us a very good season so far. Mm-hmm. But Chelsea season also hasn't been bad. Debbie. Maybe I'm at Chelsea, the eye opener was the last game at Chelsea boy in the Champions League. A lot of the Chelsea supporters, no Midfield say. Baby a team na kwa kuduru, baby a team ni jina no. Baby a bad thing to be betting at Chelsea no one channel. Because so only GDO with team mumpo. Not team let me a club World Cup. Aqua share for. Not Chelsea team ya check for no the amount of proper players. Obe expect us after team na jina ye. I never be conquer the Chelsea. So the supporters and everybody in and around the club was in full confidence. So I feel baby a Chelsea team na do the omo show to be betting me at Chelsea. That steps in a certain Bayern Munich. Our match Chelsea the reality check. I feel supporters ni obi owo club ni mu bia. Adwen ba so say Chelsea team na ye hu ne sa no. Yes team ni good e no kre. Na mum team ni invincible. Enti afei no. Chelsea supporter ka bibia. Yes confidence dey wo ho. But obey a bit skeptical about Nancy Mobeka. Kwaku found that Chelsea performance near better than Manchester United there. Because United there no. From last season, ever this season. The first match of the season, especially United near Arsenal. Manchester United lose here. But a lot of the Manchester United supporters know. And you are GDA Kaka looking at how Manchester United played. And that would go on a few say. Bona United near Arsenal boy, you know. I'm going to me at twice so. So almost twice so. No, when a good conversion rate. And after moment to be converted balls and there, Manchester United would be a better team this season than what we saw last season. But after say about 4 matches will league him up. Supporters then so ya to say at the end said the aircon the iron sha na ya kwa say last season they know bia. It's your Manchester United supporters no. And so dwene hom mienu. But since 2013, the Manchester United Boboko no and Chelsea share in a league game. Na ye Old Trafford nko dia Chelsea ntimi nche. Every 2013 ever. The Manchester United Boboko Asia Chelsea in a league game. Na ye Old Trafford nko Chelsea ntimi nche. That gives the Manchester United supporter some sort of confidence. Se team na ye kwa share no e wo mta the performance na ye chen ye de no. E wo mta Manchester United performance na nye. But baby aye baba be share na to da football. Sa nema we na play role. Kwaku ye no ni fi wono mo a. Two coaches no mo baba be share ne no. Omo na be decide game ne dia mo clubs. Me ka so omo na be decide games ne dia mo clubs because coaches ne nsa no when felt and a board the results aba. Manchester United last game of boy against Manchester City. Me now me feel say Manchester United is in a position now. I wasn't Manchester United team winning against Manchester City. But coaching mistakes are yeah. Selection are 1 year and lead to the loss of Manchester United. If we are saying that City are carrying the 3 maximum points. I was say Manchester United 3-0 or the points in the call. The mistakes are more big in the game against Manchester City. So when we repeat some mistakes in it, then the kind of history and answer record that honor since 2013 no, everything we repeating no. But Samorin menya selection ni ye. To say the 1 year against Manchester City no. Kwaku, ebe we are saying not Chelsea carry 3 points on they call. Mistake by Amorim here against Manchester City. I had a problem no. So Manchester United the both game this season. Amorim mama ya say so on the system and the tactics and the formation on to stand that. And your problem. So on to stand that. Coaches Roman to Salmon Sano. People don't talk about them so much because they get results. And yeah, I want to stand a washer. Obiani with the problem. So on to stand but oh in here, nobody is going to say anything. Debbie. But the moment our results in them manner, that is what people are going to talk. There are other coaches in the Premier League. And as a one coach I am in the Premier League, oh, no, about the 3-back system, Oliver Glasner for Crystal Palace. What transformed Crystal Palace team, no? Since Obabefa team, no? It's over now, Auburn. Results now, Everton. Nobody is going to complain. Say, over 3-back, Debbie. But people are complaining about who Amorim Odiene because born now, Auburn. And for the intended results, and Mark. But what decided to always stick it to that and your problem. But you have to get your selections right because I thought that and found a system out of so when your selections in a year it goes in favor of you. Manchester City and Manchester United. Now Man United, I feel it should have been a blessing in disguise. Kuni Pra, Messi Mount Pra. The double number 10 position now Manchester United a bono. In Bomo and about the right side of the double number 10. Now Kuni about the left side of the double number 10. It is a Koba. Se Kuni and one na Uprobi, and na kwa pay in Bomo, oh, and you move on. Who should it be? Now, me feel as I say, Bruno Fernandes. But coach decided to obey you see Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo, I own Manchester United. I flourish well. And that's what me about the double number 10 year. This was Dinamo Bomo Ginano, or the double number 10 rule. But I heard only in Bomo available. It is opposite in Amad Diallo Bobia. Young Amad Diallo are function well this season and better than Mazraoui as a right wing back. It's not a coach in pushing Mazraoui. And in the Coco Boss our position, no, not Chinchil or the Amad Diallo, echo the double number 10, which is the left side. Abraham to play and a left footed player, and just a right footed player, the boss our position, no. So it would have been a perfect place for Bruno Fernandes. Minumi and Nunsu. So Bruno Fernandes are more dangerous when he gets closer to the opponent's 80-yard area. But coach in Shemubia. Aside, Manchester United in Finland this season, Ugarte say he's not a player we can rely on. It is a team like Chelsea. After the mistakes you made against Manchester City, now decided to know our best sticky to her. Obama Manchester United midfield now a week. At the said you already Bruno about the number 6. because Ugarte wouldn't provide any form of support for player friend say Bruno Fernandes. So coach in Manchester United, yeah, it should be a game for Casemiro ni Kobe Manu. I won't feel for him. Cunha no started training, but I'm not sure I was so risky or more. Debbie, only you see Bruno in that position because Bruno called him very dangerous. The Chelsea midfield, Kwaku, it is one of the strongest departments in the Chelsea setup. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. And found Enzo Fernandez probably ABR this season on Daniel that good. But so we buy many game there from one. A lot of the matches are Enzo Fernandez abo. Even when he's not getting good games, the supporters don't talk because Obe assist and also Obe share. For some time now, that has been the strength of Enzo Fernandez. It's at a point that now Kopama Mobo to be your goals and from Chelsea. No, Enzo Fernandez was the go-to man for Chelsea. He either gives you an assist or a goal. It is a Enzo Bonio, Enzo Ambonio, opposing a threat to any form of team Aosia. And he's a workaholic player in midfield. It is a one young player so much stronger. A baby Asiano. Now Caicedo only Enzo no much for almost. And that is going to make the job difficult for Manchester United. Should Manchester United lose the midfield battle, they are going to lose the game. I was a coach, you know, Emma Jane, Eba Saadi. I don't know why he keeps using Luke Shaw as a left centre back. He provides nothing to the Manchester United team. Chelsea attack now, it is an attack, solid. João Pedro Neto. Probably William Estivayo. Baba be General Baba be Shawa. The man here Dane say players me and Sunny a ball playing forwards. So it is not as if say Abia. Your Baku one my especially number 9. I bear João Pedro. Abia on only him born. It will be station at one position. No one can boss on the derby. Or a number 9. But he plays more or less like a number 10. It will make me drift away from the defense anytime we are. No one creating opening their man other teammates. It will be here centre back, sir. Almost be sharp, almost sense of awareness. And me who look short to Kitasa, you know, or about Manchester United Bobo. Chelsea has the strength. Chelsea has the upper hand. It is a coach in our selection here. Now when deploy the tactics here, so record net that one since 2013. Chelsea back Old Trafford their own team channel. Probably this Chelsea team be breaky. Especially coming from the backdrop Sekweku. Chelsea last game of Champions League, you know, they didn't get good results.
Yeah.
Chelsea man met Old Trafford and I say, oh, Medina Old Trafford. So when you have good results against Bayern Munich, you know, or signs about the lose the game away, and so they are coming. Debbie. And the coach Ruben Amorim has to be very careful, extremely careful. The system as them, the tactics as them, or so be anyone more because all no coach will be it's any problem. Young can watch them, you're Jayamano. Or no team, or no Juma. But he has to make sure so many results in the Manchester United. But if I'm to pick any team, I'm a placing me bet honor. Looking at the quality of players, selection of players, the system I'm working this time around. I'm going to go for a double chance for Chelsea at the expense of Manchester United. Kwaku, Oko France, there is one game about the Basel. It is supposed to be a very big game. But there is one team who will take you over the French League. I'm at that teams, you know. Sorry to say, AI teams are a born a component. And it's Paris Saint-Germain. On the Olympic Marseille near Bababisha. Olympic Marseille in the past. Olympic Lyonnais in the past. These were the teams that ever started French League. Now you probably be to the French League. Because at that time, Omunane was our quality. No? Omunane dominated the French League. But today, there is a certain Paris Saint-Germain. Our quality when it comes to play with field. The coach, experience, no quality. Our park. Our squad depth. It is almost player about Kumpoa. It's a system that work. No other players from the bench are good into. It makes it difficult for the other teams. Some will be in a Gina toe to toe. Normally in a ball. Olympic Marseille last season a performance in your back. Open one of the best coaches. When it comes to building teams, Obeboni Roberto De Zerbi from Brighton, from Sassuolo. Osha Juma and our year. Team Biobekwa just give him time. Young pick talent, quality across the board. Now young fancy team manager strong there. Obenya Roberto De Zerbi. He moves into the French League. Last season only be second our French league animal. But only team be at the Paris Saint-Germain compete. Now the Olympic Marseille. Now to be the second. Looking at the kind of quality, the golfing quality between the two teams, may assure say M found points gap and them about 19 points or so. Still now very confident what to be about home again. It is like those days. Barcelona, Real Madrid, I was Spanish La Liga anymore. At a point, Valencia bet to me a detail. Now Valencia supporters are quite a trophy. Normally a Barca stadium. So I'm to swat your league because someone is to win 2 Barca and Madrid. Looking at the quality. Sana French league and it's Olympic Marseille and G League. But looking at the performance last season, no, they felt they have done well. This season, we're topping up with 1 or 2 quality on the squad anymore. Mason Greenwood that's so hard, own numbers, no, and so the more Olympic Marseille. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and never become and these 2 players looking at the kind of quality of possess everything have any form of defense aside if you watch the game against Real Madrid Timothy Williams also buy he's getting a position at all power border from Juventus but at the point now Onyamo but this time around he's getting it and or try to obey the best at the Ama club they lost against Real Madrid but I'm sure that's how give me some sort of confidence because on performance, though Madrid dominated, but on performance and then yet that bad, they came into fight. It is all about the Paris Saint-Germain. On some putting in that kind of fight in the game against PSG. But we have 2 teams we are. The last 10 meetings between these 2 teams, Paris Saint-Germain winning 8. 8 in Paris Saint-Germain are winning. There's been 1 drawn game. And I must say, a winning just 1. One now must say winning was a cup game in 2023. Coupe de France. And I'm share Paris Saint-Germain beaucoup no more. It was a team on a consistent line on Messi. Any name at that time. But so we are only film. Now this kind of players meeting Paris Saint-Germain has been a problem. Last season almost show woman away. Semi kind year. It was 3-1 Barca and a 4-0 to Barca. At a point. Now it was difficult to Marseille even a goal against Paris Saint-Germain. But I feel that this season, looking at how they are playing, the game against Real Madrid have set everyone some sort of confidence. I'm going to this particular game, everyone build some sort of momentum. But I feel the PSG was so much quality in their squad. I think PSG be say the services of a player, friend say Ousmane Dembele. But Gonzalo Ramos, in the absence of Dembele, anytime they get the opportunity, actually someone see a player, someone good. And Olympic Marseille also has a very big problem. Backline, almost trusted central defender. Now I forget. Doubtful. It is a get partially fitness tester. That is when they are going to get that kind of strength in their backline. But in the absence of Naif again, I feel that Paris Saint-Germain quality they keep on. Even though almost by the substance of Ousmane Dembele, I may say probably João Neves, but they still have that kind of quality. Players is the one that Emery Mo, Babishim. No more commenting Olympic Marseille team. It is an away game. Olympic Marseille neighbor home. But the strength and might of Paris Saint-Germain, me feels a better about to play game. And a very difficult. And the Marseille team, so will be to me and win against this Paris Saint-Germain side. Probably a slim win because they are not going to have all their arsenals. It will game anymore. Into be call for a slim win for your Paris Saint-Germain Bobo Kono. Arsenal. And also if you know about Manchester City Bobo Kono. There is a lot of pressure on a coach if any say Mikel Arteta. And it's just because say a league now what problems team anymore. Now when to me and G League, it was clear, it was evident. So problems they were team now meant to went to me and G League. A toda ni penya kwa mbi jina so no mo dia pade no. In the previous 3 seasons, Arsenal went me and G League. There were windows and now you for the coach to me affirm. Oh, William Saliba pray. It's your attempt to me and performing and yeshe. Another season. Nipo obo number 9 the Arsenal. Oh, pray. Kai Havertz. It's the Arsenal and me and the Liga and yeshe. Oh, Bukayo Saka at a point no pray last season. It was one of the reasons in the Arsenal and me and the league. Gabriel Martinelli. A pray. It's at a point. Now Arsenal like that firepower. One of the reasons in the Arsenal and the league. At the time will be now you can't find the actual mama coach if anything Mikel Arteta because problems I won't team him. So problems now are clear and will be able to say no man into me league going to me and for the Premier League top spot. But you read this season, Problems now for the past 3 seasons. I have coach a friend say Mikel Arteta. Even though I build a good side, they are Arsenal. Arsenal and penny for them make sure. So Mobema is the their feelings are problems. Porto said Arsenal Bobo. And the coach and I friend say Mikel Arteta. This time around, it looks more or less like only excuse to be a team anymore. Say Saliba Pra and now the be excuse. Yamao Sika dia kwa to center back Saba. Gabriel Mosquera and Christian Mosquera. Henkapi. These are 2 quality center backs. And I'm about to be Arsenal Bobo anymore. Henkapi said that Mobi Brima here. But for Mosquera, since Saliba ain't new the partnership are forming with Gabriel. I am so strong to the stand. Say, it looks more or less like say, our boss now team the 5 years scramble. It is here. Saliba issue now 2 seasons ago. Only one man coach in the Jina so I can say, Nunti, a Kahun, and I'm managed to be in the Premier League. No, that problem is solved. So number 9 last season, no problem. Yakwa talk Victor Joker said in Abreu. Joker is about Premier League. He hasn't been bad. About 4 matches. 4 matches now about Premier League. 3 goals. Oh, your story said Troy Dini can't watch them. Say your smaller teams in our show. But say your smaller teams too. Say your smaller teams too. When you have 3 goals from 4 games. And in football, teams can get one in every league. Every also check Cassiano. It would also be a good strike and not a war shark Cassian Quan. Or the shark Cassian and Quan, so mention get one and Quan. You may be any red or budget top scorer will league him. It is the most important thing. And it's a strike and goes the Arsenal. It's every problem that has hindered Arsenal from winning the Premier League for the past 3 seasons. How about the second match? That problem is solved. It is a year. I take any excuse to be here. Pep Guardiola, on the other hand, last season, one of the worst seasons of Pep Guardiola career. And Guardiola Nankasa as a coach would want to do things right this season. Say you better forget what happened last season. He started season on the first game against Wolves. It was a super performance. Tottenham Babacheno. And I Tottenham Manchester City will say, yes, you have a very good team. Name them. Only invincible. There are times that matches we all my own team win it. And we buy the amount. And I Tottenham beat you. From there, Pep Guardiola making sure to obey things right. Against Manchester United, yes. Manchester United team is that strong to say the Arsenal team. That is very true. But at least getting that win gives you confidence. Only maybe build momentum after that. He played in the Champions League against Napoli. A very strong side. Red card, it is true. But red card is a part of football. If we are saying, Manchester City are the most important win. The striker Erling Haaland keeps firing from all angles. He is one player watch here. So he has the quality to beat any form of defense. Just give him the balls in the right positions. Oh, the ball, no man. Oh, baby, oh, Gina, Yena. Oh, baby, make sure all the ball never to net anymore. Arsenal a very strong defense. And the ABA probably. Now I'm going to go down the way to say the way against Manchester United. No money. But I watch Haaland this season. He's trying to always share the video. I can't ball. Haaland now is the first. He's always a station in number 9. Or Gina box him now or trying balls. This season, Haaland the ball is a there are times I'll be Haaland or track it back. I'm about supporting Manchester City defensively. If the Haaland try say, we share defense more there. On one case, I find these spaces away from the 80-yard area. Now I try to be a team player rather than being a station number 9. It is all because police are Haaland. This time around, a thing because on you never be back could be him. To say Haaland na you know. Zubimendi don't ball. Our boy in the last game they played quality performance. But the Manchester City midfield, a lot will depend on player friendly Rodri. Since I Rodri back, you can a lot from the player. They say Rodri na you know. But those players I call them the BBTVC players. With a single touch, or to be a difference maker the amount of team. I will see a kind of momo. The man I expect to saw by a lot this time around to be Tijani Renders. He's shown the kind of quality of work. One my glimpses of the kind of performance. How they better Manchester City Bobo undo the standard of Kevin De Bruyne. That is very true. But in his own way, good performances on the Manchester City there, oh yeah. And the Arsenal midfield and so you're strong. And you have to bring your A game on board to get the needed results. Eberechi Eze, since joining Arsenal Kwaku hasn't been bad. And people are going to expect a lot from him. Say Odegaard no money ho. Now other players in the one man. Eberechi Eze no Madrid, just as they have done in the last game they played in the league, should make sure they are going to step up for Arsenal.